his mouth. But because he had in this way broken the play day's peace, such a punishment was meted out to Smirre Fox that, for the rest of his days, he must regret he had not been able to control his thirst for revenge, but had attempted to approach Akka and her flock in this manner. He was immediately surrounded by a crowd of foxes, and doomed in accordance with an old custom, which demands that whosoever disturbs the peace on the great play day must go into exile. Not a fox wished to lighten the sentence, since they all knew that the instant they attempted anything of the sort, they would be driven from the playground, and would never more be permitted to enter it. Banishment was pronounced upon Smirre without opposition. He was forbidden to remain in Skåne. He was banished from wife and kindred, from hunting grounds, home, resting places, and retreats, which he had hitherto owned. And he must tempt fortune in foreign lands, so that all foxes in Skåne should know that Smirre was outlawed in the district. The oldest of the foxes bit off his right earlap. As soon as this was done, all the young foxes began to yowl from bloodthirst, and threw themselves on Smirre. For him there was no alternative except to take flight, and with all the young foxes in hot pursuit, he rushed away from Kullaberg. All this happened while black grouse and brown grouse were going on with their games. But these birds lose themselves so completely in their song that they neither hear nor see, nor had they permitted themselves to be disturbed. The forest birds' contest was barely over, before the stags from Häckeberga came forward to show their wrestling game. There were several pairs of stags who fought at the same time. They rushed at each other with tremendous force, struck their antlers dashingly together, so that their points were entangled, and tried to force each other backward. The heather heaths were torn up beneath their hoofs, the breath came like smoke from their nostrils, out of their throats strained hideous bellowings, and the froth oozed down on their shoulders. On the knolls round about there was breathless silence, while the skilled stag wrestlers clinched. In all the animals new emotions were awakened. Each and all felt courageous and strong, enlivened by returning powers, born again with the spring, sprightly and ready for all kinds of adventures. They felt no enmity toward each other, although everywhere wings were lifted, neck feathers raised, and claws sharpened. If the stags from Häckeberga had continued another instant, a wild struggle would have arisen on the knolls, for all had been gripped with a burning desire to show that they too were full of life, because of the winter's impotence was over, and strength surged through their bodies. But the stags stopped wrestling just at the right moment, and instantly a whisper went from knoll to knoll: "The cranes are coming!" And then came the gray, dust clad birds, with plumes in their wings, and red feather ornaments on their necks. The big birds with their tall legs, their slender throats, their small heads, came gliding down the knoll with an abandon that was full of mystery. As they glided forward they swung round, half flying, half dancing. With wings gracefully lifted they moved with an inconceivable rapidity. There was something marvellous and strange about their dance. It was as though gray shadows had played a game which the eye could scarcely follow. It was as if they had learned it from the mists that hover over desolate morasses. There was witchcraft in it. All those who had never before been on Kullaberg understood why the whole meeting took its name from the cranes' dance. There was wildness in it, but yet the feeling which it awakened was a delicious longing. No one thought any more about struggling. Instead, both the winged and those who had no wings, all wanted to raise themselves eternally, lift themselves above the clouds, seek that which was hidden beyond them, leave the oppressive body that dragged them down to earth, and soar away toward the infinite. Such longing after the unattainable, after the hidden mysteries back of this life, the animals felt only once a year, and this was on the day when they beheld the great crane dance. End of The Great Crane Dance on Kullaberg. Read by Lars Rolander.